Okay. The learners from batch 1, Titan 1.0, can you please confirm? Titan 1.0, 2.0 both. Please confirm your batch. Good evening, everyone. Yeah, I'm good. I hope you all are doing good, and I also hope that your preparation and everything is on track. Okay, great. So you all are here, so let's continue our discussion. Let's start. So till now, again, till now we have already completed Buddhism. We are still at this detour. We are still at this chaos zone, right? Where we find a lot of scholars, philosophers, right, bringing new philosophy to the table. Yeah. So under this, we have already covered Buddhism, right? And we were discussing Jainism yesterday, and we found that the founder of Jainism, Vardhaman Mahavir, also belongs to the same era. In fact, contemporary of Buddha, right? Buddha and Vardhaman both are, traveling and teaching in the same zone, in the same era, right? And are supposedly contemporary. How many classes left in ancient India? 10 classes? Okay, maybe. So yeah, maybe more, right? I'm not very sure, right? Because we initially had gone a bit slow, right? So maybe I'll be taking more classes, or maybe I'll be taking some marathon sessions or extra classes on Saturday. Something like that will happen. But I'm considering ancient and medieval together, right? So this is the last class of detour. Tomorrow we will go back to our timeline. Tomorrow we'll get back on the Mahajanpada discussion. Mahajanpadas. Right, so Mahajanpadas, then Mauryas, then Mercantiles, and then your Gupta. So 4 eras are there, and each era will take like 2 to 2.5 classes. So yeah, so it will take something like 10 classes. Right, and after that we'll start our medieval discussion. Okay, so we realize that Vardhaman Mahavir said that there are some 23 Tirthankaras before him. 23 Tirthankaras. And in most of the stories we realize that in general they are princes who had left their home, found the salvation. In this case we call it Kaivalya. Right, what is Kaivalya? We'll get to know today. Right, so till this point we had already discussed. Today we'll be talking about your philosophy of Jainism. Yeah, so let's get started. Was Mahavir follower of Buddha? Why will he follow Buddha? Right, he has his own philosophy, he has his own, you can say, set of, he's following his Tirthankara Parshnad. So he belongs to a different set of thought, he belongs to a different school, right? So he should not be following Buddha. Right, anyway, okay, so Jain philosophy. So now we will start Jain philosophy today. Now the most important element of Jain philosophy is karma. Right, let's focus here now. The most important element of Jain philosophy is karma. Karma is like, overarching philosophy, basically the foundation of the whole philosophy is karma. Let's understand how. So I'll use this diagram, but before that, we also must understand that Buddhism or the Buddhist philosophy is stayed away from all kind of theoretical discussion, right? Like epistemology, ontology, cosmology, right? So for example, if somebody asks, right, how this world was formed, right? Origin of the world, evolution of the world, right? What is the fate of the universe? All this discussion, Buddhism had stayed away. Buddha was smiling at all those questions and was not getting into this philosophical debate. But on the other hand, Jain philosophy will realize that Jain philosophy answers almost each and everything. Jain philosophies will also talk about physics, right? Metaphysics. But now one is physics, right? What is gravity, or basically what you have studied in your college. But one is metaphysics, beyond physics, right? Who am I? And that kind of questions, right? So metaphysics, what is reality? What is cosmology? What is nature of being? Ontology. Right, what is becoming? What is existence? All these kinds of doubts will be taken by Jainism. So you can understand that Jainism actually penetrates into all the domains. Right, philosophy-wise, Jainism penetrates into all the domains, and that is the reason Jainism philosophy is bit complex. Right, bit complex. And today it will sound like some science. Right, you might feel a bit nostalgic. You remember your science classes of school. So let's talk about that. Okay, so this is the diagram which we'll be using. Is it visible, everyone? Can you see this? Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, okay, it works. So let's try and understand this diagram. And if you understand this, the philosophy is done. Okay, so or maybe I can make a new one. Right. So Jain philosophy talks about Dravya. Now what is Dravya? Dravya is technically of two types. One is Ajiva. Another is Jiva. Right, Jiva and Ajiva. Right. Now Jiva and Ajiva, it's more like the word is made up of Dravya. Word is made up of two things. Word is made up of Dravya. Dravya is either Ajiva or Jiva. Very simple. Sounds like living things and non-living things. Right, that in this world we have two types of things. So Dravya is technically thing. Like something like thing, not exactly thing, but something like thing. Dravya. So Dravya, the word is made up of things. It is made up of two things. Either it is living thing or it is non-living thing. Simple, very simple. Right. So let's categorize the non-living thing first. Non-living things are of 5 types. Now I'm saying non-living things, but it does not always mean that it is non-living thing, or you have to think in the physics form. No, not in the science form. But try to understand that this is philosophy of Jainism. The first thing which they say that word is made up of non-living things. Now in non-living things, the first thing is Pudgala. Now what is Pudgal? Pudgal is like matter, right? You must have heard that matter is of 3 types: solid, liquid, gas. Yeah, same as Pudgal. So Pudgal is technically solid, liquid, gas. It is nothing but similar to matter. It is made up of means either solid, it can be liquid, it can be gas, it can be similar other articles like plasma or something. But most importantly, Pudgal also includes karma. Now this is something different, right? Pudgal includes karma. Now what is karma? So as per Jain philosophy, karma is some particle floating in the world, right? And these are like very, very fine particles, and karma can go inside our soul. Try to digest this, right? So karma are like very, very fine particles which can penetrate into our soul. It is like if I do something good, some karma will come and will penetrate in my soul. If I do something bad, still some karma will come and will penetrate in my soul. So it is basically this karma floating in this world, right? And as soon as I do some karma, in fact, even if I think of doing the karma, right, this karma gets into my soul. So this matter is not only solid, liquid, gas, but it also includes karma. Karma is a very, very fine particle, right? Extra fine particles. It can penetrate in the soul. Otherwise, it's matter. Can matter be created? No. Can matter be destroyed? No. It can only be converted from one form to the other form. This we have studied in our school, class 8, right? And I think class 7 only, where we studied that matter, any matter, for example, this matter, it cannot be created, it cannot be destroyed. It can only be transformed from one form to the another form. So the first part is Pudgala, right? Again, it's more like physics. Second, they talk about dharmastikya and adharmastikya. Dharma / adharma. Now what are these two? So there's a concept of inertia, right? So inertia, we also studied this, I think, in class 11 maybe, right? Where we said that inertia is the property of the body by which this body stays in rest or this body stays in motion, right? So dharma is the property by which a body stays in motion, and adharma is the property by which a body remains in rest, right? It's a property of the body. And now you realize, since they're talking about physics, and if you define everything in the world like matter, like dharma, adharma, etc., you can actually answer anything you want, right? And that is the reason they'll be able to answer anything, right? They can talk about anything in the philosophy because it is more like science only. The word is made up of what? It's very simple. Word is made up of either living things or living things or non-living things. Living things includes matter, right? Solid, liquid, gases, so yeah, solid, liquid, gases, everything, including dharma, right? Second is dharma. So anything which is moving, it has this property of dharma. It has this property of dharmastikya. Similarly, if it is in rest, it is lying here because it has a property of dharma. It is in rest. Technically, in physics, we call this as inertia, right? Fourth property is your, and this is something, you know, favorite part is Kala. Their philosophy also talks about time, right? They also consider, they're not only considering inertia, matter, but they also understand the importance of time, right? That we don't have to look at any frame, you know, in a pause format, but we must also understand that there is one more axis, which is time axis, right? As per the time, things will change, right? So maybe something is solid now, but maybe after some time it will become liquid. So time will also be an important process in this whole philosophy. So the first philosophy, obviously, a philosophy which talks about time. If you remember, we were talking about Vaisheshika. In Vaisheshika, we were talking about such things, right? We're talking about atom, Brahman, force. Similarly, this philosophy also, is similar to, Vaisheshika, or you can say that this is a scientific way of dealing things, very scientific way of approaching philosophy, right? Time. Now the fourth part is Akasha. I'm writing it here, which is space, right? And all these things will be arranged in some space. So in this world, now think like this. In this world, so basically the world exists in a space, right? World exists in a space. In this world, either there are gases roaming around, or there are liquids flowing, or there are solids lying around, right? So these are Pudgala. So space is basically taken by Pudgala. Additionally, what? Dharma also. So in this space, things are floating, right? Things are there. Either they are stationary, maybe just lying around because of adharma property, right? Or they are maybe floating, right? Moving. If moving, this will happen because of dharma property, right? And with the time, this is one time frame, but in another time frame, if the time is changed, maybe something which is here will come here, something which is flowing here will come here, move. So the whole physical world can be explained by a jiva. This is the first part of the philosophy, where we are explaining the whole world, right? That this world consists of 5 things. And the non-living part of the world, this whole world, the non-living part, consists of 5 things. One is Pudgala, other is dharma, third is adharma, by which we stay at rest. Fourth is maybe Akasha, not maybe, but Akasha, where we arrange all the things. And fifth is the time dimension, right? The things will change because of this process, because something is happening. So it will not be constant, but there will always be a change. There will be some changes with the time. So time has also been considered, right? And when somebody considers time, then you can understand that this is a very advanced philosophy, that even time has been considered. The time is an advanced concept. Yeah, you are not only talking about, a particular moment, but you are talking about the process. You are talking about that with time the things will change. Something which is here today will go there. Right, so this is the first part, which is non-living part. Try to grasp this much part, but it's easy, right? It sounds tough initially, but it's a very easy philosophy as well. You can easily grasp, right? Complex, the form is complex because there are so many things. Few things you might not be able to, you can say, visualize. But otherwise, it's a simple concept. Only this flowchart you need to understand. Dravya, basically, the things in the world are made up of 2 things. So one is non-living, and I'm writing non-living, etc., for your understanding only. Right? So let's see Pudgal first. Yeah, so we are talking about non-living first. Non-living, Pudgal, matter. So matter can be solid, liquid, gas. It can also be energy. Energy is also matter. E equals to mc square. Right, so mass energy concept we understand, right? So energy can also be considered as matter only. But other than that, there are fine karmic materials. Understood? So yeah, so Pudgal, states of matter. Second, we were talking about dharma tattva, medium of motion, or adharma tattva, medium of rest. If somebody is in rest, that means the property over here is, the applicable property is adharma tattva. It has nothing to do with right or wrong, by the way. Adharma. No. Adharma does not mean that it is wrong. It is just rest. Property by which somebody stays on rest, something stays on rest. And property by which something is in motion is dharma tattva. So dharma tattva, adharma tattva. Right, next, space. Everything will be accommodated, everything will be placed in this space. So all this, whether you stay on rest or you are in motion, all the matters, whether solid, liquid, gas, energy, or karmic matter, everything will be arranged in this space only. And the things will change with the time. So the last concept, or the fifth concept, that time is also a real entity over here. Very important entity, time. Right, now they say that time is technically eternal. It's flowing, it ceaseless. Right, it is eternal, it was always there, always moving. Also they believe that time can be denoted like this, with 12 spokes. One more, right? Something like this, equally arranged. Right, so 12, like similar to your watch, so 12 spokes. And also divided into 2 parts. One is descending, right? Descending cycle. So descending cycle is called as Avasarapini, right? And the ascending cycle is called as Utsarapini. and they consist of so many years. It is not like this is a day, you know, they consist of thousands of years. So Utsarpini, Utsarpini, this is something like you have heard that in your life there are ups and downs, right? So when it is up, it is Utsarpini, and once you are declining, decaying, right, degrowth, so degrowth is under Utsarpini. So similarly, the world is also like that. Our time is also like that. There is a cycle where this world spiritually grows, right? There is upliftment, and that upliftment where everything is positive, very good, right? That upliftment is called as Utsarpini, right? The rising trend. When it is declining or the downtrend where degrowth is happening, that trend is called as Utsarpini. This is not 1 year. This is many years, right? Thousands of years. So right now we are in Utsarpini zone. Right now we are declining. We are on the declining trend. And Rishabhnath took birth. Rishabhnath came to birth in this zone only. Yeah, so they have gone, more deep in time, where they have even defined that time can also be differentiated as per growth or decline. If it is growing, right, if there is growth, if there is, you can say spiritually growth, things are positive, right, like you must have heard in Brahmanical philosophy, Dwapar, Satyug, right, Ramaraj. So if there is Satyug, Ramaraj, everything is positive, good things are happening, then it is growing. Growing part will be called as Utsarpini. Declining part where like Kalyug, where things are declining, so Kalyug will be called as Avsarpini. Understood? Don't compare with Satyug only. You can say, sir, Rishabhnath is in Avsarpini, so how Bhagwan Ram will come into Satyug? No, I'm not saying Satyug and Avsarpini are same. I'm just saying that if there is growth, right, if it's positive, good, right, then it will be called as Utsarpini. If it is declining, it will be called as Avsarpini. So we have concluded the first part. Yeah, first part. And since it is science, I would like to know, did you understand? Are you still there? Are you all with me? Yeah, we'll come to Cavalier already, don't worry. We are reaching Cavalier soon. Yeah, chat is on, quick chat, 30 seconds. See, in total, if the world is moving towards positive direction, right, there is less path, there is more punya, something like that, right? And if it is moving in a positive direction, then it is Utsarpini. Easy, awesome. I'm glad to know that it is easy. It is easy actually. See, the thing is, we don't expect all this in philosophy. That's the only part. That's the only problem with it. Right? If you expect this in philosophy, that philosophy can also be scientific, then you can easily accept it. Especially if you're on science background, or if you are aware during your school time. Right? Then also you can easily understand. Drama is not Brahma. There is no concept of Brahma over here. Drama, this is totally world. World is composed of things. Either it can be living thing or it can be non-living thing. World has like this is world, right? So it has living thing, and inside me also there is living thing, and then there is something, this matter, this is non-living. Are you getting the point? In fact, even in an atom, basically, in a kernel, right? Even in this, right? There is matter, solid, but inside there are forces. They will be Jiva. We'll come to Jiva, but let's understand the first part, which is a Jiva. No, we have just started, right? We have just started. Wait, right? This much I hope you all have understood, right? So let's go ahead. Okay, let's go ahead. Let me complete everything, and then you tell me what is main concept. You're asking. Main concept is karma. We have not reached karma yet. Okay, so let's go to the second part, which is Jiva. Jiva means technically soul, right? And so I use another side. Wait. Okay, now I'll rub this part. What's happening? Yeah, okay. Let's talk about Jiva now. Jiva. Now, again, try to understand this thing, right? Jiva. Jiva is soul. Now, the original soul is amazing. It has original soul. It has, it has knowledge. It has, happiness, bliss, and it has consciousness. Chaitanya. These are the main important properties. Right? It itself is very knowledgeable. The pure soul has knowledge. Pure soul. Right? For example, like a kid, right? A newborn baby. You see newborn baby smiling. He's smiling, right? Because they have not done anything. No UPSC, no pressure on them, no answer writing, no ancient India. Right? So now you will see that the basics. I'm not saying the soul of the kid, but I'm saying original soul in itself. Right? It is like very, very pure, and it has all these intrinsic qualities. Right? It has originally, by default, it has all these qualities. But what happens to the soul? This soul, which is supposed to be pure, right? Nothing is there inside. Now you start doing karma. And karma is about fine matter, right? Very, very fine matter. So once you do karma, suppose I'm teaching, right? So I taught. So now what's happening? Now there is some teaching fine karmic material who is actually penetrating into my soul. Right? This is what? This is influx. Right? They're penetrating in my soul. This is influx. Right? And this is called as asrava. This process is called as asrava. Because I'm doing something, I'm doing a karma. So this thing is penetrating into my soul. Right? And it is asrava, influx. It is coming inside. And then what happens? Because now it is there inside, it will come and stick over it. Yeah, it will start sticking to my soul. It is getting inside, and this is called as the sticking. This sticking is called as bandha. Bandha means bondage. Right? I'm bonded by all the actions I have done. So maybe suppose think like that. Again, this is not the correct way to think about it, but think like that. When we were born as a baby, right? We were having a very clean, straight, pure soul. But as we started doing something, right? As we had gone to maybe school, we learned something, we interacted, we got some cultural development in us, and because of all those development, all those things which we did, right? We are getting, you can say, we are accumulating all these karma inside us. Our whole thought process, notion, everything, whatever we have in our mind, basically on our soul technically, is something what we have done in our life, and that you can call it experience as well, but let's not call it experience. Let's call it that karma has somewhere, occupied our soul, and now technically we are, because of all this, now we are non-liberated soul. So because of this karma, right? Because of asrava, and bandha, now our soul is trapped. So now we have technically one non-liberated soul. Non-liberated soul. Right? Now it's a non-liberated soul, right? Because we are trapped. Now we basically are living in some, you can say, some bonded manner, that yes, we behave in a particular manner because we are bonded, right? Our soul is like, trapped into something, trapped into whatever things we have done. For example, whatever you have learned it now. Suppose you did engineering, so now you're trapped. You have to behave like that particular fashion. You have to go in this direction. You have to do this, etc., etc. There are few things which can happen to you. Have happened to you. Either you go to some engineering job or you do MBA or something like that. Like similarly, if you have taken, let's say, MBBS, so now there are limited ways you can go ahead. So now that's what something like that. I'm not saying exactly, but something like that. Now it's a non-liberated soul, and now we are trapped. Now this is not only about us or human being, but it can also be about some material. It also has some forces inside it. So that force can also be called as soul. So anyway, so now there are non-liberated souls in the world. So this world has liberated souls. This world has some or many non-liberated souls. Now, since in this world we have these non-liberated souls, so we must realize that this is the way they will exist. Right? This is the mode we are existing. We all are existing as a non-liberated soul, and this is our reality. It is not Maya. Right? If you understand this very, very practically, this is not Maya. We are not living in any illusion. We are living in, under the bondage of our karma. Whatever we have done, accordingly, that is something which is governing our life. Are you getting your point? So that is our existence, and it is reality as well. It is not like the Upanishad says that Brahma is real and rest is Maya. Right? And the rest is not Maya. It is not Maya. It is not illusion. But this non-liberated soul is our reality. This is the way we are existing. Right? So it does not talk about Maya. I'm just comparing with Upanishadic thought. Upanishadic thought believes in some kind of Maya. There is Brahma. Right? Other than Brahma, things are Maya. You are trapped into Maya. Illusion. But here there is no illusion. This is our reality. This is the existence. Right? Also, it is dualist. Dualist. It believes in soul and matter. So it is dualist. That's one thing. Second thing is that existence is the reality. Now, since we are here, so existence can happen. We can exist in multiple ways. We can exist as this soul. This soul can exist in many ways. This soul can exist as human. This soul can exist as even gods. Right? If our karma and all is good. So now it is also not about good karma or bad karma. Right? If your karma is good, maybe you can also exist as God. Right? Then you can also exist as animal or plants. And you can also exist as hellish being. Right? Somebody who lives in hell. Right? Those prani, I've not seen ever, but those prani who live in hell. So hellish being. So it believes in 4 types of existence. Are you getting a point? And in these 4 types of existence, we will keep on rotating, keep on circulating. So this is actually what? This is again same cycle of rebirth. And this is actually rebirth is what? Samsara. Again, same thing. So till now we understood the trap, right? Till now we have only discussed the trap. Right? Again, let me add one more thing to it. So yesterday we were asking, sir, what is swastik? And a swastik. So let's make a swastik. Swastik only means that we can exist in these 4 quadrants. Right? Either we can be human, either we can be God, or we can be plant or animal, or we can be some hellish being. And whatever we are, we will keep on dying, taking birth again, dying, taking birth again. This is samsara. Right? This is the meaning of swastik in Jainism. So yeah, so we are trapped over here. Again, I hope we all are. Again, a quick chat of 30 seconds. The second part also we have done. Right? Second part, only second part. Not like there are only 2 parts, not completed yet. But did you get this? Are we all together in this? Are we all on the same page? Prithvi, Khyati, Vritti, Pavan, Priyanshi, Vinika. Yeah. Non-liberator means trapped. If Vritti, your chat is disabled, then how am I able to see you? And even if your chat is disabled, let's focus. It's fine. Chat तो मोह माया है, right? कर्मा है, इसी से बंधे हुए हुआ, liberate हो. Okay, so, alright. So Dravya is universe. Dravya is thing. Universe is made up of Dravya, right? So you can say that universe is made up of so many Dravya. It can be either living or non-living. Pudgal, Dharma, Adharma, Kala, Akasa. Yeah. Okay, so I think the initial part I have established. So now let's go ahead. Okay, so now comes the main part. How to get liberated. What is the formula of getting liberated? Okay, so we were discussing Jiva, right? We had discussed Pudgal, Dharma, Space, Akasha, then Kal we have discussed. Now I have added more details in Kal. I want you to read because I don't think UPSC will reach that Suhasma, Duhasma, but still I've added it here. So just give it a reading, right? Okay, not very important, but yes, good to know. Yeah. So we're discussing that we can be either 4 things, right? This is the first thing. We can be God, we can be animal, we can be some hellish being. I don't know how it works, but yes. So yeah, we can be human as well. Right, so this is reality. Okay, so now one thing which we establish over here is that Jainism believes in gods. Right? Jainism believes in gods. But God is not like, God is the ultimate one and he can give you nirvana. No, he cannot give you Kaivalya. Actually, Kaivalya, not nirvana. So nirvana or Kaivalya is not coming from God. God is there. They agree. Yes, God is there. But the position of God is below Tirthankara. Tirthankara is above God because God is part of that non-liberated soul. But Tirthankara is above God. Right? So now if somebody asks you that Jainism believes in God. Yeah, they believe in God. Yes, true. But God is not like being worshipped there. Right? In Jainism, it's not about worshipping God. It's not like there is some God to whom if you worship, you get Kaivalya. No, it is not like that. It is not by grace. But this one is also about personal pursuit. You will have to find out. You will have to work upon it. Right? And so there are types of existence. Also, animals and plants, they say Triyancha. In fact, animals and plants, they have created subcategories. Right? For example, some animals will be having more cells, or basically, more senses. Right? Some animals will be having only one sense. Right? Very lowest of the animals, which is Ekindriya, only one senses, and will be called as Nigoda. Very, very tiny organism, which can be here, which can be floating over here, which can be in the fire, which can be in the water. Right? So these Nigodas, or basically these animals, they can be anywhere. Right? Anywhere. And then why are we discussing this? Because I'll use this later. But it can be anywhere. Right? So Nigodas and all tiny organisms. Right? They are basically element bodies. They can be anywhere. Earth bodies, water bodies, fire bodies, air bodies. They can float anywhere. Okay, so now let's come to karma. Let's come to the final thing. Okay, we understood that we have a pure soul, but this got asrab, and then this got bandha. What else? What now? What to do now? So this is technically a non-liberated soul, right? Non-liberated soul. Now what we need to do? Now we need to follow you know. Yeah. Now we need to follow. Okay. Yeah. So now we need to follow. First thing is samvara. We need to stop these karma coming in. We need to stop. And this stoppage of the karma, we will not allow any karma to come to us. This stoppage of the karma is called as samvara. Samvara. But what about which has already penetrated, stick with us? So now we need to use one eraser. We need to get it detached. It's something like this, and we need to pluck it out. We need to remove it, right? So that this starts falling. And this is called as what? This is called as nirjara. This process is nirjara. And with this practice, where you take out all the karma from your soul, right? Simple, very simple. So you will get moksha, or technically you will be liberated. There will be no rebirth, etc. No rebirth, and it will be the pure stage of moksha, or you can say you will have keval gyan. You will be called as kevalin. Right, this is the stage we want to reach. Right, this is the liberated part. Every Tirthankara or everybody who wants to get liberated, not necessarily become Tirthankara. You can become Siddha, you become something else, right? So I'll show you how. But this is how you will get liberated from that cycle, right? So two processes we need to follow. One is stoppage of doing karma, stoppage of karma asra, or basically stoppage of the influx, which is called as samvara, right? And then you have to dissociate. If you dissociate, right, this is dissociation. Right, dissociation, and then finally your low soul will be liberated, and you will get moksha. Right? Of course, this is theoretical. How you will actually gonna do this? We'll understand. Okay, so now we have realized the pollution is this karma is some kind of pollution which has tainted our soul. Okay, so this we have discussed. Now before we get back to this discussion, let's add few more points over here. So this we have discussed. Realist, dualist also we have discussed. Yeah, so Gandhiji, by the way, Gandhiji also believes this. Gandhiji also follows the same thing. So cosmology. So I'll come back to that discussion, but before that, because they have discussed almost everything, they have some say in almost in all the directions. So a few more things like cosmology. Now somebody asked Mahavir or the Tirthankara, right? That what is universe? How many types of universe we have? Right, that question. So they say that there are three types of universe. First is Urdhvalok. Right, simple Urdhvalok. Urdhvalok is like heaven where gods live. Then there is Madhyalok where humans, animals and plants live. And third one is Adhalok. Adhalok is where hell is, Patal Lok. So three loks. Now this is simple, this you already know from Brahmanical knowledge as well. But the question is, who has created the universe? Another question. Who created the universe? Right, as per Jainism, what is their take on the creation of the universe? Now, creation as per Jainism, there is no creator. Nobody created universe. Universe was eternal. It was always there. It was always there from Adikal, from the starting it was there. So nobody has created universe. In fact, Jainism mocks. They mock if somebody says that there is some creator. Especially Acharya Jinasena. He has multiple questions like, where is he who has created the universe? Now where is he? Right, if somebody has created the universe, then where is the person now? Second is whether he came first or universe came first, or from where did he get this whole raw material to create the universe? So they don't believe in anything like creation of the universe. The universe was always there, right? From the starting of the time, or it's eternal, it was always there. There is no discussion on creator. There is somebody like creator. So they're very clear with respect to the creation of the universe that there is no creation, right? Yeah. So it denies the existence of a supreme being responsible for the creation and the operation of the universe. So now again, this is challenging our Trinity concept of Brahmanism. Brahmanism says that there is Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. Brahma has created the universe, Vishnu takes care of the universe or preserves the universe, and Bhagavan Shiva actually destroys the universe. Right? But here they don't believe in such concept. They only believe that this earth or universe was always there. Okay. So this was cosmology. Let's move ahead. Let's get back to our original discussion. Now how? We understood that we have to clean our soul. In a nutshell, what we need to do? We need to clean our soul. Now the question arises, how? Right, how? Let's get back to that discussion. There was some liberated soul. Because of all the karma, it became non-liberated, and we are trapped in the whole cycle. Right, now we want to come back to the original form, the original soul. How that will happen? How we will get moksha? So in Jainism also there is a concept of Tri Ratna. Same concept we had in Buddhism. Tri Ratna. Buddham Sharanam Gacchami, Sangham Sharanam Gacchami, Dhammam Sharanam Gacchami. Right, so Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, Tri Ratna we had in Buddhism. Similarly, we have Tri Ratna in Jainism as well. Right, Tri Ratna. Now these, I'm removing this. So Tri Ratna. So they are basically FKA. Tri Ratna. The first Ratna, the first thing, the first tenet, first jewel is that Samyak Shraddha. Samyak Shraddha means you need to have full Vishwas, you need to have right faith. You need to believe in the teachings of the Tirthankara. You will have to believe in the Tirthankaras that yes, they are the ones who can help me, or whose teachings can help me get liberated. Right. The first is having faith in Tirthankaras. Second important thing is Samyak Jnana, right knowledge. Right. We want that correct knowledge. We want to achieve that knowledgeable state. Right. Eventually, a state of Kaivalya. Kaivalya is also the state of knowledge only. Right. The knowledge. So knowledge. So we first of all, as a starter or beginner, we need to have knowledge of the Jain creed. Right. We need to understand their doctrine. We need to understand the whole philosophy. The knowledge of the Jain creed. And third, and the most important thing, right, actionable thing is right action. Achara. Samyak means right. Samyak is correct. Right. Samyak means right. Right or correct. So correct action. So now I say, okay, sir, I believe in Tirthankaras. Now we have seen philosophy as well. We understand right knowledge is something which we have to achieve. Right. So let's talk about action. So what all things I need to do? Right. So now Jainism tells you that yes, there are few things which you need to do. There are 5 vows. Right. 5 vows you need to take. 5 promises you need to make. Right. 5 promises. And especially if you are a serious monk, these 5 vows will be called as Mahavrata. This you need to do. Right. You need to do Mahavrata. Let's see. So Mahavrata. So Panch Mahavrata. So first of all, first thing is you should never ever commit violence. Do not commit violence. Ahimsa, purely ahimsa. Very strict, rigid. They are very rigid about ahimsa, that you don't have to commit ahimsa. Right? Do not commit any kind of. You don't have to commit himsa. Do not commit any kind of violence. Second is satya. So now you can understand that this is something close to Gandhian thought. Gandhiji also talks about same thing. right? Then second is satya, always speak truth, do not tell a lie. Third is asteya, do not steal. Fourth is aparigraha, do not hold, right? You should not hold anything, you should not accumulate anything. Suppose if you start accumulating, you get materialistic, you are now worried about how much wealth you have, and now you want to increase your wealth, right? You're worried about how many clothes I have, and then now you are worried about how many new clothes I have, right? So there should be no holding, there should be no aparigraha. Suppose food, you don't need to store food. Food should be, only that much with you, which you need to survive, right? Also, only eat that much food which is good enough for survival. It's not like, we have litti chokha, we have chole bhature, so we can have as much you want. No, right? You need to control, you should not hold, aparigraha, do not hold at all. And the last one, which was added by Mahavir, Vardhaman Mahavir, right? He said that, we need to observe continence or brahmacharya, right? Please go through all these. I think somebody is there on the gate. Yeah, sorry, I'm back. Okay, so yeah, so we were discussing that these 5 things you need to follow. You should never ever, commit violence. You should never ever tell a lie. You should never steal. You should never hold, and you should follow brahmacharya. If you do all these 5 things, right, then gradually, with practice, with conscious effort, right, you will reach that stage. And this is about practice, right? So now the practice of ahimsa, if you see, so they talk about that you have to be vegetarian at any cost. Right, strict vegetarian. So many even food, even things which are not exactly non-veg, even they are avoided over here. For example, something fermented, right? It might have some nigoda, right? We discussed nigoda, right? Nigoda, one in the small animal or something. So I'm saying there may be some small organisms, right? Cellular organisms, basically unicellular, very small, amoeba, bacteria, something like that. Right. So yes, so you should not be eating such things like figs. Figs is basically anjeer, right? You should not have honey. You should not consume alcohol. Right? All these things are prohibited. Though there is one exception. One of the sect Shwetambar believes that if there is extreme emergency like famine or you are sick, in that case you can consume meat. But this is only with Shwetambars. Now Shwetambars will come later. But one exception with Shwetambars. Right. Also, ahimsa at what level? Do not dig the earth. Maybe there is some nigoda lying there. Right. Do not bath, swim, or walk in the rain. Right. Do not bath in the rain. It's not like you do not bath. You do bath, but do not bath in the rain. Right. Maybe in water body there is some animal, some nigoda. Right. Similarly, you must not light or extinguish fire. Maybe you will kill some nigoda. Also, air body, there must not be no fan. Maybe there's some nigoda and will be killed by fan. You should not do that. So you can understand what level of ahimsa they are, asking you to follow. Right. So yeah, the practice of ahimsa. Again, now the question arises: then what should I do in my life? I should not be walking around. I should not be digging. Right. So then, Jainism says that yes, a lot of things will be banned. For example, you should not do war. You should not go for writing. You should not do agriculture. Right. You should not go for any kind of art or something. Good part is trade. Trade is something they allow. So you must have found that Jain are mostly into trading. Right. They're mostly into business. Right. Jain merchants. So Jain traders, you must have still find that Jain are into business. So Jain community is in business because Jainism says so. Right. That trade is something which you can easily do. There is no harm as such. Okay, so yeah, so mainly trade and mercantile activities. So mostly Jainism will find trade only. Yeah, so this is something they need to follow, right? Also they have coming back to knowledge. We discussed what we need to do, and again knowledge. Also they have defined multiple types of knowledge, right? Yeah, many types of knowledge. But the most important or the ultimate knowledge which you need is Kevala Gyan. Kevala Gyan is omniscience. Omniscience is basically everything. You understand everything. That is omniscience. Now when you say understand everything, does not mean you understand all the subjects. It's about understanding what's happening with you. It's about what is happening to your soul and all. So that kind of understanding you have. So that is Kevala Gyan. And it is the basic quality of the original soul, right? The soul which is not bounded. The knowledge is the quality. This Kevala Gyan is the quality of the soul. And when you liberate the whole soul, when you do nidra, when the karma is out of the soul, then you get Kevala Gyan. So this is something which you need to achieve, right? The Gyan which soul originally has, that is Kevala Gyan, that is omniscience, that is Sarvagya, right? So what do you say? Sarvagyani, and somebody who knows everything. So that kind of Gyan already our soul has. Like only thing we need to do is we need to take out all the karma from it. If we take out all the karma from it, we have Kevala Gyan. Yeah. Okay. So let's get back and conclude. Okay, fine. Let's conclude what we understood till now. So we realize that the whole world is made up of Dravya, right? Things. Dravya. It can be either non-living thing or it can be living thing. If it is non-living thing can be categorized into matter, which is Pudgal. So Pudgal is your solid, liquid, gas, energy. Then your karmic matter. Then dharma is basically the property by which we move. Right? Adharma is property by which our body goes to rest. Kal is time. Akash is space. So we understood the non-living part. Then Jeev part, soul. Soul already has knowledge. Originally it had knowledge, but because of the karma, first of all, there was influx of karma, and then we got bonded to karma, bandha, and somehow, because of all this, we became non-liberated. And that is the reality. Right? That is our existence. We exist in these forms now. Right? Trapped in the cycle of birth and death, samsara. But if we start following our 5 Mahavratas or 5 vows, 5 promises, so gradually by practice, right, we will stop somewhere. We stop the karma stuff. That is somewhere. And someday, by practicing, we will be free from all the karma. We'll dissociate all the karma which we already have. And then we have our original knowledge, Kevala Gyan, and then we can go to moksha. That one is liberated soul, which has that original Gyan, Kevala Gyan. So additionally, we discussed what we discussed about cosmology, about world. Right, world was three form. Right, one is heaven, one is earth, one is hell, and there is no creator. This was some additional point which we had discussed. Right, in 5 was the most important one which we have discussed is ahimsa. Right, and other than that, yes, there is brahmacharya, there is asteya, etc. Sorry. Yeah, okay. So quick chat. It's still not over, but are we all aligned to this point? So now there are a few theories in Jainism. We'll talk about those theories. But yeah. Yeah. Now sounds simple? Yeah, it is simple actually. Everyone? Awesome. Awesome. Let's continue then. What happened, Venkateshwar? What did you do? Okay, chalo. So there are some derived theories of Jainism. So Jainism is also considered to be one of the most pluralistic philosophy. Most pluralistic, very much plural. What is plural? See, when you study Jainism, especially after reading Gandhi, that you will realize that Gandhi is exactly what Jainism says. Right? Gandhi is follower of Satya. Right? Gandhi is follower of non-violence. Gandhi is follower of Brahmacharya. Gandhi is follower of Aparigraha, no hoarding, etc. So all the vrat he is following. Other than that, he is also very plural, very accommodative. Right? He understands the viewpoint of others. Let's try to understand this. So there are three theories. One is Syadvada, one is Nayavada, one is Saptabhangi Nyaya. So all the theories are basically all the three theories, whether it is Syadvad or the Anikantavad, one more word is there, Anikantavad. So technically or literally they have some difference, but otherwise more or less they are same. More or less, I'll tell you what's the difference and how they're same. So again, I think previously also I had used this phrase that truth is relative. Right? Truth is relative. We choose as per our convenience. Or the other way which we can see the same thing is suppose there is one elephant and you have multiple people with blindfold. They all are blindfolded. Right? Now, if they touch the different part of the elephant, they will have different understanding of elephant. Somebody who is actually touching the ears of the elephant will say that it's a fan. Somebody who will touch these teeth, right, the tusk, will say that it's a spear. Right? Somebody who will touch the trunk will say, oh, it's a snake. Right? Somebody touching the tail will say it's a rope. So everyone, and they have their own perspective, they have their own idea of things because they are not able to see the complete picture. They are able to see a side of it. Right? One anta. Right? So they are only able to see one anta. Ek anta. Anta means side. So एक side का देख पा रहे, एक side है ना, one anta, and that is the reason the theory is anekantavada. There are अनेक anta. There are multiple ways to see the same thing, and that is the reason we can say that truth is not absolute. It is relative. Right? When you say something, there is nothing like absolute truth. So the correct way to say things is that maybe this is correct. Syadvada or anikantavad, it basically means that there are multiple ends. There is no one end. Right? That is theory of plurality or theory of multi-sidedness. For example, if I say that now I am sitting and I am in rest. Are you getting my point? But you can say, sir, how is that possible? I can tell you one way. This earth is moving. Right? So how is it possible? Because you are sitting. So how you can say that you are sitting? You are actually moving with earth, so you are moving. Now that is also correct. But another your friend will say that, sir, relative to the room you are sitting, so that means you are in rest. So technically you are not moving. With respect to the room, you are not moving. So with respect to the room, relative to the room, I am not moving. Right? Relative to the room, if I am moving, then it's relative to the room. So it's relative. Right? It's not absolute. Understood? What if I start walking at the same speed the earth is rotating? Right? Now can I say that I'm in rest? No, tough to comment. So now, Anikantavad basically says that there are multiple ends. It cannot be very sure. There's nothing like absolute truth. There are relative truths. So there are multi-sidedness. There is plurality, and that's what Gandhiji is. Gandhiji is plural. He wants to accommodate everyone. Right? Before Dandi March, when he realized, right, before Dandi March, so why he did Dandi March? Why he gave that ultimatum? So for 2 months somewhere he had waited. Right? He gave one ultimatum because he was not getting support from the business class. He was not getting support of the capitalists. Also some youth were also some wings, especially the Muslim League and all. They were also not supportive. So at that point he said that okay, let me wait. Let me not install the movement immediately. Let's wait and let's create the momentum so that I get the support from everyone. So he's very accommodative. Right. Similarly, once we talk about the caste system. So Gandhiji is not talking about annihilation of caste. Why? He wants to accommodate the untouchables, but he don't want to confront. He does not want to confront the Sanatanis. Right? They will feel bad. So I have to accommodate Sanatanis along with the untouchables. So I have to create some, I have to maybe accommodate both. So I need to create that environment that both can be accommodated. Or maybe I'll have to wait for that. So Gandhiji is very accommodative, very plural. Okay. Anyway, so Syadvad. Now let's come to Nyayavad. Again, same thing. Individual understands an object of knowledge through a particular point of view. Anyone understands something from a particular point of view. That is Nyayavad. Similar to what we have already seen in Syadvad. Right? Similarly, Saptabhangi Nyaya. Now it's another way of saying things. It says that there are 7 points of view to everything. Again, it's like having multiple points of views, so it's like quantifying that there are 7 points of view to everything. That is Saptabhangi Nyaya. So all the theories are almost same, pointing towards the same thing, but literally there is some difference. Right? So yeah, so we have discussed this part, Syadvada or Anikantavada. So yeah. So again. Now if you see. So now Upanishad again. So with this Upanishad we saw. Upanishad talks about substances. Right? It talks about substances. Right? It talks about, for example, soul is permanent. So it also talks about permanence. Right? Whereas Buddhism talks about influx. Buddhism talks about Khanikvada. Buddhism talks about impermanence. Technically, Buddhism talks about process. Right? If you remember, there is a river and there is no such particle which is here. It is moving. So it talks about process. So Jainism accommodates both of them. Both are correct as per Jainism. Jainism will be like, both are correct. You tell any theory to Jainism, like, maybe it's correct. Again, it is that kind of theory. Maybe it's correct. It makes sense, right? From this way it may be correct. From this way it may be correct. So as per Jainism, both are correct. Jainism says that yes, if you pause this river, right? If you pause this river, there are substances. Right? And that is the reason we have the element of time. If you play the river, yes, they are moving. So technically this is process. If you both are true, you are just not talking about the elements in between, and you are not talking about time, and that is the reason you are stuck at a particular substance. So you both are correct, but you are looking at only substance and you are looking at only process, but actually every process has some substances. Right? If you remember, we discussed Sankhya something, right? Sankhya, these all things are there, so from Sankhya philosophy. So from there I'm taking, it believes that both are correct. Both the ways to look at things is correct. Right? You believe in substances, you believe in process, but both the things are right. Right? It's substance plus process. It is not in isolation. So Jainism will find that yes, they are highly accommodative. Yeah. So Okay. On the other hand, if we compare Jainism and Upanishad, Jainism and Brahmanical philosophy, so yes, there is no mention of Vedas, there is rejection of the authority of the Vedas. Did we find any Vedic rituals? No, there is no Vedic ritual. Right? So you can say that this is also against one system only. Right? Then again here also we discuss in Buddhism that if in general there is nothing like one system, or one system is not important, irrelevant. Right? But here also they believe that Brahman is someone who is a monk, right? Who has knowledge. So Brahman is technically not the Brahman which we say in the Brahmanical terms, but any Jain monk is a Brahman. Are you getting my point? Right? So that way they are not completely rejecting the one system. They are like that what we define Brahmans in the one system is wrong. The way we define Brahmans in the one system is wrong. Brahman is not by birth, but the Brahman is by conduct. So Jain monk is a Brahman, right? And other than that, they have criticized Brahmans. They brought, because of the ritual Dan Dakshina, they brought rituals into the system. So they are not Brahmans. In fact, Jain monks are Brahman. So technically, it is not completely rejecting the one system, but it is purifying the one system. That this is, if there is one system, this is the way you should be looking at the one system. If there is somebody in the lower varna, right? Why? Because there is existence, right? Based on the karma. So based on the karma, you can be in the lower varna. Understood? So you can be of lower varna, you can be of a higher varna, you can become Brahman if your deeds are good, correct? Like Jain monks are Brahmans. But similarly, you can be a lower varna if your deeds are not fine. If you don't have good deeds, then you can be born in the lower varna as well, or you can be of lower varna as well. So technically, they are not rejecting the one system completely, right? Whereas in Buddhism, we said that it is open for all. Yes, that is correct. Also, there is no hierarchy, and technically there is no one system as well. So if we say that there is no one system in Buddhism, that is correct. But if there is any, Kshatriya has to be on the top. This we had discussed. Bit contradictory, but again there are multiple, you can say, opinions. There are in last, after Buddhism there was so much updation. So yeah, we have multiple takes on this. See, Buddhism initially we didn't find out there is no concept of one system, right? It is open for all. That we had discussed. It is open for all. For Buddha, everyone is equal. Agreed. So technically they have rejected the one system. That is correct. But if the question asks you, UPSC, for the sake of UPSC, if question deliberately asks you that in Buddhism, Kshatriya is superior to the other varnas, so then we can say yes, this is correct. Otherwise, for all the other practical purpose, Buddhism has rejected the one system. But on the other hand, so we are talking about one system. So Brahmanical philosophy, if we say Brahmanical philosophy, if we say one system, so we understand this is rigid one system based upon birth, right? If we talk about Buddhist philosophy, in Buddhist philosophy, no, they rejected the one system. But if any, then Kshatriya is on top, right? Even if you forget this, it's okay. There are high chances that nobody will ask you Kshatriya in Buddhism. But still, if any, then Kshatriya will be on the top. And in Jainism, yes, there is Jain monk is Brahman, and lower one, or basically the whole system is based upon karma, right? So it is not based upon birth, but it is based upon karma. Now again, Gandhiji is not supporting annihilation of caste system. He's fine with the caste system, somewhere close to what Jainism says. Again, Gandhiji's position is aligned over it. I understand you have not read Gandhi till now, but I'm saying let's put it out today, and once we will be discussing Gandhi, then this point can be correlated. Yeah, okay. So now you tell me, what about? Okay, chat is on, and now you're free to comment. Not free to comment anything, but what I'm asking. So what about God? We find yes over here. Yes, there is God. What about in Buddhist philosophy? Do we have gods? Do we have God in Buddhist philosophy? Yeah, do we have God in Buddhist philosophy? No, there is no concept of God in Buddhist philosophy. At least in the original philosophy. When you say, whether there is concept of God or not, it's basically about the original philosophy. Third, Jainism. Do we have God? Yes, but lower than Tirthankar or Jinnah. Somebody who has God Kevalya, right? He will have superior position. Right? Buddhism is agnostic to God. Correct word is agnostic. Yes, right. Most accurate or more appropriate is agnostic. Yeah. Okay. Again, karma. Karma over here is technically rituals. Right, and karma over here is your again deed / intention. Karma and karma we had discussed. Right, and karma over here is everything. Karma is coal. Right, karma is basically pollutant. Taints the whole soul. Anything else? Yeah. Okay. So let's go ahead. So we have. Okay. So now, after this, after the philosophy part we have done, right? But the impact part. Right, the impact part. Jain God, okay. God is technically, you can say, somebody who lives in heaven, somebody who has done maybe good work or something, and they live in heaven for some time. So they are gods, right? It's not like God, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh type powerful gods who can do anything. No, who's the creator, preserver, or destroyer? No, these are gods who live in heaven because of good works, good deeds. Right, so that type of God they have established. Okay, so now let's get back. Right, few things more to go. Okay. So now, suppose if I go to some Jain monastery today, and I say that, sir, I want to follow something. I also want to do this. I can also go and say I want to eventually become a monk, but today I'm a family man. I have classes, daily classes, right, etc. I cannot be so serious, right? It cannot be like that. I can go for Mahavrata. I cannot do this. So will I get entry here? Can I do something of my potential? Is that possible? Right? Can you tone it down for me because I am a family man, right? So now, so they will say that okay. So technically there are two types of followers. One followers basically are the one first group are the one who are who follow sadhu dharma. Sadhu dharma. Now, as the name suggests, sadhu means monk. Somebody who's a serious monk, right? Who is following all the things seriously, right? So sadhu dharma. So this type of, you can say, practice will be called as sarvavirti. So their practice will be called as sarvavirti. Virti. Then there are people like you or me, right? Who are family men, and they will follow shavak. Shavak means beginner, shavak dharma, right? And this type of religion, this type of practice will be called as deshavirti. Right. So technically, what I can become shavak. I can become deshavirti. So now, if I have gone to, let's say, Jain monk, he will tell me what? That, yeah, okay, you are beginner. At least do something. No, you cannot do Mahavrata. Okay, this is serious. Can you do Anuvrata? I say, what is Anuvrata, sir? Okay. Let me explain the whole process over here. Are you fine? You will take my signature and everything? No, just kidding. No signature. But yes. So once I go there, now I'm using the original, screenshot from the original book. The reason there is so much confusion on internet on this, and philosophy, you see, there are multiple interpretations. There's so many interpretations, right? So maybe some subsect of Jainism will say something else. Are you getting a point? So I'm using the screenshot. Maybe you can read it yourself. So if you find some other thing somewhere else, don't get confused. And also, UPSC will not go this deep. Don't worry about that. So let's try to understand. So as a shavak, I will be asked to follow, Anuvrata. Where is Anuvrata? 5 minor scale. 5 minor scale vows, Anuvrata. So this is minor scale, same 5 Mahabharat, but at a minor scale, not very seriously. Right, not very seriously, but yes, you can start practicing like an intern. Right, intern does the same thing, but at a very minor scale. Right, so intern, like an intern. So I'll have these vratas. So very technical. Don't go into this, but it will be like something like for ahimsa, abstain from killing men, animals, innocent moving creatures. As far as possible, abstain. If required, you can kill. It's okay. Right. Similarly, abstain from telling lies. So it is more like abstaining. It is not like how you have to. Right. As far as possible, abstain. Abstain from accepting important or costly things. Right. Then abstaining from sexual intercourse with all other women except one's wife. You're a family man. Right. Then limiting holding of things. Limiting. You can have limited things. You can hold limited things. So that kind of 5 anuvrata will be given to me. So now I say, sir, very easy. Thank you, sir. I'm good. I'm a family man. Right. So he'll say, wait. So since you have signed, so there are a few more things. There are 3 gunavratas. 3 gunavratas. Right. And then there are 4 shikshavratas. So there are in total there are 12. 5 plus 3 plus 4. Right. I say, sir, what is Gunavrata? Gunavrata is like you don't have to sit idle on your chair whole day, right, creating content. No, you can't do that. You need to roam around. Get in all directions. Right. Roam around. A bit roaming is required. Right. Second is bhog. Basically limited the use of bhoga. So bhog means limited food to be eaten. Upabhog, those things which are basically utilized on a daily basis, like clothes. Limited clothes. It's not like you can have as many clothes as possible. Right. Similarly, abstaining from doing sinful things which are not required either for living or serving one's interest. Don't do anything which is not required, right? Especially sinful. Don't do something like that. This is what such kind of guna you have to develop. Such kind of guna, right? Somebody who walks around, somebody who is not consuming a lot, whether it is food or whether it is clothes or something which I use. Also, don't do anything sinful as far as possible. That kind of guna you have to develop. Also, shiksha, some knowledge. So there are 4 shiksha things as well, right? Meditate, basically think, think, good thoughts for 48 minutes. At least for 48 minutes, do some yoga, meditation, right? Passing most of the day in time in contemplation by performing 10 samikas, right? Think about all right things and all. Living like a monk for 24 hours, for at least 12 hours. 24 hours or for at least 12 hours. So for in a week or in a month or somewhere, at least for 12 hours. Try living for a monk. You cannot do Mahavrata all the time, but at least you can do some monk-like things for some time. Can you do that? Right. Then similarly, giving charity and all. Right. Start sacrificing. Start giving. Right. Start giving to the people. So that way, giving charity to the monk or nun or something. So that way, you will develop some characteristic of you're a family man, but these are basic things. Now, what family man will say? That, sir, please give my form back. It's very tough. I can't do these 12 things. Right. Too much for me, maybe. So he'll say, okay, my friend. What you can do? At least 2 to 3 of all these 12. Can you do that? I say, this makes sense. I can do it. So as a Desh Virti, as a Shavak Dharma, I'm allowed to at least follow 2-3 as per my capacity. Out of these 12, it's not necessary to do all these 12, but understand them. And if 2-3 is possible for me to start, right, and then gradually I can increase the number, and gradually I can go for higher level. So that is Anuvrata. Now let's talk about the complete process. I'll come back to this. So they had asked this concept of Anuvrata in 1995, but this is not the reason I'm teaching. Right? Let me tell you about 14 Gunas Thana. Right. So now as an intern, I was just floating window shopping, right, trying to figure out what all things happen. Few of us come back. Right? It can't happen. This is very tough. Right? So few of us will come back, but few of us will say, okay, let me try. Let me go up. So there are 14 stairs, 14 steps, or basically 14 levels. Right? I have to gradually I have to upgrade and I have to reach the highest level. So there are 14 Gunas Thana, 14 levels. Right? Why are we discussing this? Because this will bring clarity to everything. Whatever we have discussed, this final discussion brings clarity. Why are we doing all these things? What is Tirthankara? What is Siddha? What is Arihant? Right? So this will give clarity, and that is the reason I'm discussing. And maybe now UPSC can also ask. So they say that there are 14 levels to liberation, 14 Gunas Thana. These are your 14 Gunas Thana. Initially, when I was window shopping, I was not sure whether I should go inside or basically I do it or not. Then basically it was about belief. Right. So initially it will be like, initial 4 stages will be like I'm trying, I don't know whether I need to do this or not, very unsure. Right. So Mithyatva, Sasadhana, Mishra Drashti, Avirta, Samyak Drashti means not important, not technical terms are not important. Try to understand this. The first stage is stage of wrong believer. I don't know. The way I'm talking, it's wrong believer. I don't know anything about Jainism. Right. So I talk like this, I don't know whether this happens or not, this is true or not, right? Because we have not gone into the monastery, we are not following any Anuvrata. Right. So we talk like laymen, we talk like we don't know anything, we talk like this. And so we are basically in this stage. Not even in the first stage. So stage of wrong believer, so I believe that I'm a wrong believer. Right, then gradually, downfall from wrong faith, mix the right, and gradually, after contemplating, after maybe figuring out, after researching, now I understand, there's some wrong I understand, some right I understand. Right, and finally, I will be like, now I understand things, but I've still not taken any vow, any promises I have not made. So the first 4 stages is basically figuring out. It's about belief. That the first stage you need to believe into things, and then you become what? Deshvirta. Right, that family man who's trying to do things. And this is the stage of partial self-control. And that is the reason that senior monk had asked me to follow at least 2-3 out of 12, and gradually I can increase. So this is my Deshvirta, where I'm following Anuvrata. Right, I just started. And then again some technical terms, Paramatta, Samyata, Aparamatta, Samyata, Apurvakarna, not important. Here you see. Now gradually I'll go into the next zone where I try to follow Mahavrata. Initially it will be imperfect. Then I will perfect it. Now I know how to do it. So Mahavrata perfect. Right, and now there will be some new thought activity, then advanced thought activity. Right, still there are some passions. Gradually I'm getting away with all the passions. Then there will be next stage, slightest delusion. Then delusion will also go. Then I will completely destroy my delusion. And then I will reach my 13th stage, which is Sayog, Kevali. And 14th stage is Ayog, Kevali. So 13th and 14th, this is technically important for me. 13th and 14th. These are the stages which are the stages of the right conduct, Samyak Karma, Mahavratas. I'm following Mahavrata and gradually practicing, and now I'm at the 13th and then final 14th position. 14th is the ultimate position. Now what UPSC can ask? UPSC can ask from 13th and 14th position. This is important. 13th position, I'm Kevali. Now I have Kevala Gyan. So let me zoom this. So 13th is Sayoga Kevali. Sayoga. That means Sayoga. Sayoga means there is some yoga. There is some utility. Utility maybe for the world. So I have Kevali Gyan. I have this omniscience. I am Sarvagya now, but there are some vibrations. I have, some vibration, some energy which I can transmit. Right, and at this stage, I can choose to teach the world. And if I choose to teach the world, I can choose not to teach the world. I can choose to teach the world. And if I decide to choose to teach the world, then I am Arihant or Tirthankar. Otherwise, I can go to the next stage. Right. So here I have some vibrations, some knowledge I have, some vibrations which I need, which I can transmit. I can decide to teach. I can decide to tell the world the doctrine, or basically how to reach this stage. I can give some thoughts. So if I decide to do that, I become what? Tirthankara. So there were 24 Tirthankaras who decided to actually transmit this knowledge, who decided to teach the doctrine. At this stage, they will be called as Arihant, who has defeated everything, destroyed all the enemies, all the bad which was there inside, now completely clean, and of course they have body and they will teach. In fact, their position will be better than, because they are a teacher, right? They are the one who are showing way to the world, and that is the reason their position is more important or better than, their status is better than this one. Right? We will worship them, or basically we will respect them, because they decided to teach. They could have taken that call, that why? Right? All the karma has gone. So why I need to transfer this vibration? I could decide that, okay, let's go ahead with the 14th position. In the 14th position, there is no activity, there is no vibration. There is nothing. It's complete Ayoga Kevali. Now you have Kevali Gyan. Now it's like you don't need anything, right? You don't need to do any kind of activity. This is like the last stage where you decide that, okay, now I can die, right? And if you die, you become Siddha. You become Siddha. You become Siddha. Yeah. So now you are fully liberated, and your soul is Siddha. So this is the way you become Siddha. And once you die, you don't go to birth and rebirth. You go to Siddha Loka. You go to Moksha. Yeah. So Siddhas are basically bodiless soul. There is no body. If you are Siddha, then it means you will choose to go. This is 14th stage. You will choose to go. You will go to Siddha Loka. Again. Coming back, the only purpose of learning this part, the 14th Gunasthana. First thing, we should understand what is Gunasthana. Second is we need to understand the 3 stages. First is about belief, second is about minor vows, third is about right conduct or the major vows. And the last part, 13th and 14th position, here we get to know what happens when you get Kevala. 13th position is where you have that Kevala Gyan, but you also have vibrations. Right? You can decide to choose. And if you decide to choose, then you become Tirthankara. You become a Arihant. Right? 14th stage is Ayoga Kevali, there is no vibration, and then you decide to leave. Right? Because that is Siddha. You just go. So now the question arises, what does this mean? Right? If I became, let's say, Ayoga Kevali, now how I will leave my body? What is the process? Now let's get back to Sallekhana or Santhara. So Sallekhana or Santhara is the practice where a Jain monk decides to not to consume food and gradually starve and die. Right? So this practice, fasting to death, voluntarily fasting to death, is called as Sallekhana or Santhara. Right? Now, what happened in 2015? Your Rajasthan High Court banned this, considering it as a suicide. Yeah, but then there was upheaval. Jain community was like, how can you do this? We were not consulted. There is no passion involved, so this cannot be done. And finally, Supreme Court had to stay on the ban. Right? So Santhara is famous for this. Okay, similarly, Pratikraman is also a practice where you technically repent for, if you have done something wrong. By mistake, you killed one insect. Then you need to repent. So that repent is Pratikraman. Right now, there are multiple types, so it's okay. Okay, so 14 Gunasthana, so we have done this. Yeah, this is the symbol of Jainism, right? And you see there are five Mahavratas, and then there is this existence into 4 real, and then these 3 are FKA, 3 Ratna, and then if you follow all this, gradually you become Siddha. You get into Siddha Loka. Right? Yeah. So this is the thing. What happened? No. Okay, similarly, Jain flag also shows the same thing, right? Now this is self-explanatory, you need to read this. Now Samavasarana. What is Samavasarana? 5 more minutes and then we'll have some discussion. So Samavasarana. Now suppose, if I am, right, somehow, or basically any Tirthankara, let's not talk about me. Suppose some Tirthankara, for example Mahavir. Mahavir must have reached this stage of Sayoga Kevali, and he decided to pass on this doctrine, right? So what will happen? When Mahavir will, declare that I'm going to teach, so he will sit in a hall. This hall of Tirthankara, where he transmits this vibration, is called as Samavasarana. So this is Samavasarana of Tirthankara. This is the hall where Mahavir is sitting, and he's sitting, maybe 2 inches or 3 inches above the ground. He's not sitting on the ground. He's not sitting on the lotus. He's sitting above. Right, and gods are also there, and there must be some hellish being, etc., etc. I can't see. So yeah, so everybody has gathered to learn from him, but his vibrations can be common man. Some technical issue, I guess. Okay, it's okay. I think now it's fine. So I'll tell you again. So we're talking about Samavasarana of Tirthankara. Samavasarana of Tirthankara is the hall or is the place where Tirthankara decides to teach. Right, when he decides to teach, he will give out vibrations. Right, because he's Tirthankara. Now these vibrations are Anakantika, multiple meanings. I, common man, sitting here, can I understand this? No, I cannot understand this Ekantika. Right, and that is the reason this can only be, if one Tirthankara giving his doctrine. This can only be interpreted by a senior pupil, senior student of Tirthankara, who will be called as Ganadharas. Now, as a Ganadhara, suppose there is a Ganadhara standing over here. He will tell, he is saying these things. He will translate all the vibrations and tell the common man, okay, so he is talking about all these things. Yeah, so Ganadharas. So there are two types of pupils. One are senior pupils who have, who are already in the pursuit of Kevalya, who are very, very senior, right? And who understands the vibrations. Similarly, there are some junior students who are called as Shuddh Kevins. Again, disclaimer is on. Please do not take me wrong. But of course, Ganadharas are much more knowledgeable or more senior in experience or knowledge than Shuddh Kevins. So there are two types. One will be senior disciple, and one is something who will help in the commentary, writing down, etc. Right. So all the doctrine transmitted over here and written by Ganadharas will be called as Angas. Right, है ना? And all the books written by Shuddh Kevins, which builds upon Angas, they will be called as Bahya Anga Bahya, means external other than Anga. Compilation of all these books are called as Agam. So basically, the whole teaching of the Tirthankara is called as Agam. Agam are in two parts. One is core philosophy, which is called as Anga Agam. Core part. Or you can say Angas. Right? And then there is commentary or build up over this, which is Anga Bahya Agam. Right. So for example, we were having in Buddhism, we were having your Tripitaka, the Sutta Pitaka, Vinaya Pitaka, something like that. That here also we are converting the teachings into the written format or the compilation or the book format. So the main format or the core finding, the core philosophy will be Anga Agam, Angas, and the external philosophy, basically the additional philosophy, which is Bahya, means external, Bahari, right? External. So Anga Bahya Agam. This is built up over Angas, right? This is Anga Bahya Agam. So yeah. So quick chat. I hope nobody has slept. So concluding till here. So we realized. Yeah. So we had. Yeah, so we had realized that this chat is on, right? Huh? Yeah, so we have realized. Yeah, okay. So what we realized that Jiva which was non-liberated, we found that we can liberate it if we do something, right? If we take some action, right? Then we can do it. So action was FKA. We need to believe in the Triratna, right? And that is the reason, we started how? This is the way which we followed. Initially, not very seriously, but then seriously and then very, very seriously. And then we reach our final Sayoga Kevali point where if the person is Tirthankara, they will choose to teach. If they start teaching, they will teach in their space, in their hall, which is Samavasarana. And if they start teaching, somebody has to note it down, somebody has to take notes, right? So the person who is taking notes are the senior pupils who are Ganadharas, right? They will write the core philosophy called as Angagams. And then there are commentaries or additional rules and all that will be taken care by the pupils who are not very, very senior. They will be Shuddh Kevins. So they will write external philosophy, so Anga Bahya Agam. In total compilation of these books, so these philosophies will be Agam. Right? So this is basically canonical. This is something which determines, or the whole Jain philosophy is into Agams. Agams are of two types: the core philosophy written by Ganadharas, Anga Agam, and the commentary or basically the external philosophy written by Shuddh Kevins, Anga Bahya Agam. Internet issue, my side. Is anyone else facing this internet issue? Yeah. So Shalini, when you asked who created universe according to Buddhism, so Buddha smiled. Yeah. Now the good part is what language is being used for compilation. It is Ardha Magadhi. Ardha Magadhi. It is basically form of Prakrit. The philosophy part is clear, right? A quick thumbs up if we all are aligned to the philosophy part. It means all. It means all. Means to become Siddha, they are not asking you to do good karma. To become Siddha, you need to basically not to do any bad things, especially. But even karma, you have to get out of karma. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so let's get back. So now, what we have realized that Tirthankara, and this is related to literature of the Tirthankaras, right? So originally, disciples of Mahavir, Vardhaman Mahavir, must have created these books, this literature, Anga Agams and Anga Bahya Agams, and these books basically will be followed by the disciples, or will be followed by all the others. Yeah, will be followed by all the others. Okay, so now, Ardha Magadhi, use Ardha Magadhi. That's a local language, right? Okay, Anikant Bad Shahbaz is saying yes, they are saying. Okay, so Agam. Okay, so yeah, we are still discussing literature. It's not over yet. Right, so till now we have reached the point where Mahavir, coming back to the timeline. So at this zone, where Mahavir must have given his teachings, right? Where we find that Agam literature was created. Agam. In two parts. One by Ganadharas, which is Angagam. Another part by Shuddh Kevins, which is Anga Bahya Agam. In total, it is Agam literature. Right, this is basically the compilation of all the philosophy. Now again, there is a breakup in Agams, like there are 12 over here, 12 books here, around 46 books here. Right, I'll tell you all those 46 and 12, but right now, just listen to me. So Agam literature was created, and this is around 500 BC. Right, this is close to 500 BC, where Mahavir has given this teaching. Right, now what happened after this? So let's start the aftermath. What happened in the Mahajanpata and later. So around 300 BC, right, roughly after 200 years, there was a famine in Bihar. Now the core area of Jainism was this only, Magad and nearby area. right? So now, when there is famine in Magadh, what happened? The monks over here. So there were two here actually. So here there were two monks. So one is Sthulbahu or Sthulbhadra, Sthulbahu, and another is Bhadrabahu. So they are the senior monks over here, right? And they decided that since the famine is lasting for very long and it can lead to extinction of Jainism, right? It is leading to so many deaths, and it is possible that we might lose a lot of monks over here, we might lose a lot of followers here. So what we should do? So they decided that one of us should take some followers and go to South India. And here Bhadrabahu comes to Karnataka. Bhadrabahu, right? He comes to Karnataka. Okay, so now, he stayed in Karnataka over here. Also, now there is spread of Jainism in Karnataka because of this movement of Bhadrabahu, right? And you must also not forget that as per Jainism, nobody wears clothes. Mahavir has said not to wear clothes. So either Bhadrabahu and his followers or Sthulbahu and his followers, nobody is wearing clothes, right? So now, the Bhadrabahu has come to South India, Karnataka, and this is the reason that we have spread of Jainism in Karnataka. You find there are Basadis in Karnataka. Later on, you find Basadis. So you find a lot of Jain. You can say Jain in Karnataka, and also there is a famous place, Sarvan Velagula. Very famous place. They'll find Gomteshwar Maharaj's statue now. But okay, let's get back to the story. So Bhadrabahu. Now after some time when famine was over and Bhadrabahu decided to go back with some of his followers, so Bhadrabahu had gone back to Bihar, gone back to Magadh. What he found that set of Sthulbahu started wearing clothes. Right, and there they had this clash, they had this debate. Bhadrabahu said that the situation was so tough and we never ever worn clothes, we never have used clothes. But here Sthulbahu, why he all started wearing clothes? So Sthulbahu tried to explain new circumstances. We thought that it would be better and all, but somehow now there is no mediation, and this will lead to separation of sect. So Bhadrabahu, the sect of Bhadrabahu, those who had gone south and came back, so this sect will be from now onwards will be called as Digambars, right? And the sect of Sthulbahu will be called as Shvetambars. Shvetambars means ambar, which is Shvet, white color clothes. So they will be wearing white color clothes, and they will say Digambar. Dig means Akash, Asman, sky, right? So they are basically sky clad. They are wearing sky as the clothes. So they are Digambars, they are Shvetambars. Right. Also, now there is huge, you can say, conflict or clash. And now the king at this point over here is Chandragupta Maurya. Chandragupta Maurya. Right, Chandragupta Maurya. And this will lead to first council. Right, this will lead to first council. Now, when first council happened, so Bhadrabahu, the sect of Bhadrabahu will discard the first council. We are not interested, man. We are not coming to Patliputra. Right, we will not participate in this first council. So now, I'll take this. So Granthas we have discussed, Shruta Kevalim we have discussed, then literature we are talking about. So yeah, so now we are talking about sects of Jainism, Shwetambar and Digambar. Right, so yeah, so this is how Shwetambar and Digambar were created. So we have discussed this story. I'll tell you about Chandragupta Maurya more, but yes, okay, yeah. So now, so this will lead to the first council. The venue is Patliputra, chairman is Sthulbhadra or Sthulbahu, and patron is Chandragupta Maurya. Right, and here they will talk about revisiting those Angas. Right, and whatever Angas were there, now it is like time to revisit these Angam literature, basically Anga literature, time to revisit, and they will revisit them. Now, because this council, again coming back, because this council is you can say discarded by or not attended by Digambars, so these new Angas will only be followed by Shvetambars. So this first council is of Shwetambar only. Are you getting a point? Only Shvetambars had attended that, and there is some recompilation, and that is the reason Digambars believe that the original Angas or the original the text has been lost. Right, and it is lost, and they don't follow these Angas. They have their own books. Right, so Digambars have separate set of books, and Shwetambar will continue with the revisited form, or basically the edited form of the new Angas, 12 Angas. Now again in 512 AD in Gujarat, Vallabhi, right, we will have another council, right, and again this is the kings over here are Mathakas, Dhruv Sena. This is again final compilation of those 12 Angas and 12 Upangas. Now final compilation of 12 Angas which were here, which was not followed by Digambar. Will they follow the edited version of the edited version? No, they will still not follow it. So again the second council is also of the Shwetambar only. So both the councils are of Shwetambars. Right, they will not follow all the final compilation or basically the initial compilation. They believe that the original text has been lost, and they have their own text based upon the philosophy, right, and they follow their own text. Now here in Buddhism I had not discussed this term, which is canonical, right? Though it is simple, but yeah, canonical or non-canonical. Right, canonical or non-canonical. Canonical is the book, is the document which is core of the philosophy, the original document. For example, in Buddhism you can say the Pitakas, the Sutta Pitaka, Vinaya Pitaka, and later on Abhidhamma Pitaka. So 3 Pitakas. So they will be canonical. And all the other books like commentary on the Pitakas, or some new scholar, or basically some big scholar writing something else additional. So all the other books will be non-canonical. They are not canonical. They are not the core philosophy. Some new scholar might have come, a new sage might have come, some new rishi has come, and they written a book. So that will not be canonical, right? That will be non-canonical. For Jainism, again, it means that Agams will be canonical. But then there will be again commentary, new scholars coming in. Understood? Similarly, for Brahmanical side, you can say the Vedas are canonical. Vedas, Brahmanicals, Aranikas, Upanishads, original, the core philosophy. That is canonical. And if you write later literature later on, that will become non-canonical, right? But we don't use this term canonical and non-canonical in Brahmanical side. We use Shruti and Smriti, right? So there we will not use canonical, non-canonical. We will use canonical and non-canonical only for Buddhism and Jainism. Yeah. So one story is about Digambars and Shwetambars. Another thing, Chandragupta Maurya. Coming back to the story, Chandragupta Maurya. So Chandragupta Maurya saw some dreams. right? He saw some dreams and he was unable to understand the meaning of the dreams. So he told his noble that I can't understand what I'm seeing. I saw some 16 dreams and all. I'm very much confused. What to do? So somebody suggested that there is a great saint, Bhadrabahu. Right? If you meet him, like he might be able to tell you what is the meaning of the dreams. So Chandragupta Maurya, met Bhadrabahu. He told him all his dreams, and Bhadrabahu was able to explain. Right? And now he will become his guru. He will join Jainism. And after leaving his throne, right? After leaving his throne, he will also come to your Karnataka, and he will commit Sallekhana. Right, so this is Chandragupta Maurya. Also, one thing which we realize over here, that since Chandragupta Maurya, a king, one of the first king who had such a big kingdom, right, and bigger than Ananda's, so he's a big king, and if he's a very powerful king, and if he's supporting, you can say, right, his kingdom is like this. So if he's supporting Jainism, then we can understand that Jainism, one of the strong reason behind the growth of Jainism or the survival of Jainism today is because that it was supported by such kings. Later on, after Ashoka, what we will find that Odisha, right, there is a Chedi dynasty. Now they will come once we study mercantile era. So Chedi dynasty, there is a king Kharvela, very very popular king, right? Kharvela king. He will also patronize Jainism, and especially in the medieval era, we'll find that Jainism, it has spread in Rajasthan, Gujarat, MP, and you still find, because it's in medieval era, it's very recent. So you still find Jainism in these areas, right? Rajasthan, you find a lot of Jain merchants. Then Madhya Pradesh, right? Madhya Pradesh, then your Gujarat, right? Also Karnataka, you still find Karnataka is an important place, and Karnataka we have Jainism. We have Jainism in Odisha as well. Right? So these are the places basically we find Jainism. I think there's a map, yeah, something like this. Right? So this is the core. This is the space now, and then your Karnataka side we have Jainism. So moving forward. So Jain Council we have discussed, spread we have discussed. Now let's talk about the schools, right? Digambar schools. What is the difference between Digambar and Shwetambar? Right, so I think school is the last topic. We'll have some discussion on literature, and then we are done. Okay. Yeah, we can continue, right? Yeah. Can I have like 15-20 minutes more, everyone? Please affirm. Please say yes. Yes. Oh, thank you, Narayan. Okay. Finish it. Otherwise, again, we will trap in this discussion only. Thank you. These many yes are good enough. Thanks a lot. Let's continue. Okay. So basically, these are your this is your basically the photo of Digambars. Right? They don't wear clothes, but Shwetambars you see they wear white clothes. Right? They are clad in white clothes. Shwetambars. So technically, Shwetambar believe in the teachings till Pashnath. Right? Till Pashnath, they believe in all the teachings, and Digambars believe in the teachings of Mahavir as well. Means all 24. Because the cloth concept, discarding of cloth concept was given by Mahavir. So Shwetambars have discarded what Mahavir had said, that Mahavir had asked to discard clothes. So Shwetambars don't follow that. They only follow till Pashnath. Right? Why? Digambars follow till Mahavir. Now let's see the differences. Now, so you were asking that who can become, who cannot. So now it will be answered. So Digambar schools, they don't wear clothes. Yes. Can they possess something? No, they can't possess anything. Except for they can have a small broom to brush before sitting. So that they need to brush before sitting, not to clean. So that they don't sit on an insect and it gets killed. Other than that, they have kamandal. Right? This is for toilet hygiene. For toilet hygiene, they have kamandal as well. What about female monks? Now here is the catch. Female monks, female monks are supposed to wear unstitched plain white sari. They are called araikas. And most importantly, female monks or female cannot become a Tirthankara. Right? She will have to take birth again, reborn as a man to become a Tirthankara. So Malli Natha, 19th number. Remember, as per Digambars, Malli Natha is a man. Right? Or was a man. Digambar school. Again, so they follow everything. They follow the teaching of Mahavir as well. And they basically, there is one book, Satta Pahuda of Kunda Kunda. Right? They follow this. The main philosophy of Digambars are in this book. So now we must understand a few books, like Satta Pahuda of Kunda Kunda. We must also recognize Kunda Kunda is a Digambar monk. Also, we should recognize that Kunda Kunda is a Jain monk. Right? Now you are asking about the names of the monks. Right? So notice the monks. What the name is. Right? You might find such question whether this monk is Vaishnava or Buddhist or Jain. So Kunda Kunda Satta Pahuda. This is one of the record of Digambar's belief or the philosophy of Digambars. Shwetambar schools, on the other hand, again, they follow till Pashnath only. Right? They don't follow Brahmacharya. Right? They don't discard clothes. Right? As per them, 23rd and 24th Tirthankara did marry. Again, on the reverse side, Digambars believe that they have not married. So as per Digambars, 23rd and 24th Tirthankaras were bachelors. Right? But as per Shwetambars, no, they were not. Now this makes sense as well because they believe in the bachelorhood. Digambars believe in the bachelorhood, so they believe that 23rd and 24th are bachelors. But Shwetambars do not believe in bachelorhood, so they say that no, they are married. Similarly, the position what they can have, simple white clothing, yes, they can have a begging bow. Right? Plus again, they also have a blush. Plus they also can have books and writing material. They can write it down, what they are thinking, what is their philosophy. There, men and women both have equal potential to become Tirthankar. So as per Shwetambar, they are 19th Tirthankara, Malli Natha is a woman. Right? So Malli is a woman over here. Right? Shwetambar. Again, you might think कि याद है आपको. Logically सोचिए देखो, everything will connect. Right? Logically think about female. As female, where she will be more comfortable or she will be allowed to become a Tirthankara, where they believe that everybody can wear clothes. If everybody can wear clothes, Mahila can also wear clothes, so female can also wear clothes. So makes sense that she can also become Tirthankara. Logical. Right? Again, who believes that they got married or the 23rd and 24th Tirthankara were married? Who do not believe in Brahmacharya? Who? Shwetambar. So this is all easy, right? It's very technical. It might sound like कि कैसे याद रखेंगे? No, you don't have to mug this up. This is very very simple. Yeah. So so the same thing. Okay, sex of January. Okay, so now you give this a reading, so this is self-explanatory. One thing which I would like to add, the philosophy we were studying, the Digambars are the one who had added the concept of time. Right? Time is not with the Shwetambar. Now how you can make this logical? Right? See, if you are not very comfortable, or if you are waiting, right, then you can feel time. If you are comfortable, if you're like it's okay, it's not that problematic, right? If you are at a zone which is, let's say, you don't have to worry about anything, time passes by. Right? So for Shwetambar, maybe I'm just saying this is the way to think. For Shwetambar, because they are wearing clothes, so they might not be feeling cold or warm or something. So it's okay for them. So maybe they were not feeling about time. But it's very tough to pass time for the Digambars because they are not wearing anything. So that is the reason they must have realized the importance of time, and that is the reason they brought the concept of time in the philosophy. Again, maybe I'm just telling you this so that you can remember this. Who brought time in the discussion? Siddhartha, again, not very important. You can give it a reading. Now again, these sects divided into subsects. So now there are subsects of Digambars. right? Digambar subsects. So there are 5 subsects of Digambars. Now again, this one is also very, very logical. And important part is, if you remember, in Buddhism, we were talking about subsects in the PYQs. So UPSC had asked about subsects. Remember? So here also UPSC can go for subsects. So it makes sense to actually go for subsects, study about subsects. So now Digambar, you see, and again, this is also very logical. You can make it very easy for you. So Digambar has Bees Panth, Tera Panth, Tarana Panth, Tota Panth, and Gumana Panth. 5. Right? Let's see one by one. Bees Panth. Bees means 20. Panth means work. 20 work. This is Tera Panth. Tera means 13. Panth means work. 13 work. They have more work. They have less work. I'm not talking about technically. I'm saying how you can remember this. More like mnemonics. Right? Don't take it seriously. So Bees Panth. So Bees Panth means Bees kind of work. 20 types of work. So Bees Panth, they will support Dharma Guru. I understand you might not be able to read it. So I'm telling you what is written here. Right? So they will support Dharma Guru. Dharma Guru. Right? So they will have concept of Dharma Gurus. They will support them, and they will be given proper position, respected. They will be called as Bhattarkas. Should I write? Okay. So basically we are talking about Digambars. Digambars. The first one is Bees Panth. I'm saying that Bhattarka, Dharma Guru, they are respected over here. Not only Bhattarka, but along with Bhattarka, they have idols, Murtiyan. They have idols, statues. The statues of Tirthankar, Kshetrapal, right? Local gods over here. Kshetrapal, right? Then minor gods, etc., etc., etc. So Bees Panth, because they are Bees Panth, they are worshipping so many gods. They were respecting Bhattarka with their guru, right? Head of the mart, and they are worshipping idols of Tirthankar, Kshetrapal, etc., etc., etc. Right? Plus, they will worship via saffron, flowers, Vidvat Puja. Right? Proper worship. They'll put flowers, they'll put saffron, there will be arti, there will be prasad, right, etc., etc. Arti, prasad, Vidvat, the full worship, all kind of things they will offer. Because they are Bees Panth, they do a lot of work, they will worship a lot of gods, they will worship, they do a lot of things. Right? So they will be basically in Maharashtra, Karnataka, South India, many places. Second is Tera Panth. Now Tera Panth is technically kind of a reform movement. Right? It is more like a reform versus Bhattarkas, these gurus. So will they worship Bhattarkas? No. So Bhattarkas will not be worshipped. They only and only worship Tirthankaras. So Tera means less, so less work. Tirthankaras only. Right. Also, what you will use for worship? Not these many things, only dry things. Very, very, few things. For example, some dry fruit, rice, right? Then some dry fruits, etc. Very few things. No Arti Prasad. Arti Prasad, nothing. This thing, no. No Arti or Prasad. This is technically in UP, Rajasthan. Right, simple, right? Tera Panth, Bees Panth. So Bees Panth, where you have so many things to do. Bees Panth, you are worshipping Tirthankara, Bhattarka, Kshetrapal, right? And you are in worship, you are using saffron, flowers, etc., etc. Similarly, Tera Panth, you are worshipping only Tirthankara, you are not worshipping Bhattarka. Right? Both of them do idol worship. Now Tota Panthi is 16 and a half. Tota Panthi is technically midway, 16 and a half. So they do some practice from here, some practice from here, not very well defined. This much is good enough. Right? We understand that it is somewhere in between. So Bees Panthi, Tera Panthi, Tota Panthi, done. Third is Tarana Panth. Tarana. Right? And they do something that they get tripti, they get Tarana. So what they do, it is also called as Samya Panth. Samya Panth. Now you will realize that Samya Panth is more about, they have sacred books, and they worship sacred books. Right? They are worshipping sacred books. They are not worshipping idols. Understood? That is the reason they are Samya or they are Tarana. So no idols, no idol worship over here. Right? Now you will not put anything on the books, so there will be no fruits and flowers. So there is no such offering, no arti and all. Right? So it will be more about study. Right? Though they will have temples for keeping books. Right? Though they don't have idol worship or anything, but still they will have temples so that they can keep their books. So the temples more like libraries. Right? All the books are there. They will do reading and all. So reading is more important. Right? And worshipping those books are more important. So this is mostly MP, Bundelkhand and all, Maharashtra, Khandwa. Right? Again, region is not very important, but yes. Last is Gumana Panth. So I tell you like this only. Gumana Panth. No, it's not visible. So let's talk about the last one. Gumana Panth. Now the word suggests Guman, proud of something. Right? Gumana. So Gumana is somebody who is proud, very proud. Gumana Panth. So what is Gumana Panth? Gumana Panth says that they talk about purity of conduct. So basically they are talking about what was originally taught. So it is more like original philosophy, not about worshipping Tirthankara. This was not taught in the philosophy, right? We worship Tirthankara, we worship Kshetrapal. No. So the original thought. See, it's okay to do extra things, right? I'm not saying this is wrong or something. Please, disclaimer is on. Don't take me wrong. The point is that Gumana Panth believes on the purity of conduct. Right? And they believe in self-discipline, strict adherence to the precepts. The original things which were told, you need to stick to that. So that is Gumana Panth. No lighting of candle or anything. So they don't light candle. Candle, no. Images, yes, you can visit. But worshipping is not important. Can be visited. But no idol worship. No offerings and all. Understood? So this is mainly in Jaipur. In Jaipur, you find Gumana Panth, where they don't follow anything else. They don't have, something like, worshipping Tirthankara or idols and all. They do have idols, but they don't worship it. Right? It's like, we have idols of Tirthankara, but it's not about worshipping the idols of Tirthankara. So these are 5 subsects of Digambar. Now, once we have read this, now it's easy to understand that Bees Panth, again, name suggests there are multiple things, so they worship multiple gods. Right? Even the guru. And their way of worship is also full-fledged. Similarly, Tera Panth, less work, so it is more about reform for Bhattarkas. There was, you can say dominance of Bhattarkas. And for there they came out and, created a subsect where they don't worship Bhattarka, they don't support Bhattarka. Right? So they only and only have Tirthankara. They only believe in Tirthankara. They only worship Tirthankara. Full-fledged puja, no full-fledged worship. This is dry fruit, rice, etc., etc. Similarly, Tarana Panth or Samya Panth, it's about books. Books are being worshipped, books are being read, books are being kept in temples. No idols. No idol worship, nothing like idols over here. No full-fledged puja or any puja over here. Similarly, Gumana Panth is purity of conduct, no candle burning, images can be visited, images can be there, but no worshipping of images. So all these are Digambar sect. Similarly, the next one is Shwetambar subsect. Shwetambar. Now Shwetambar are only 3. And this is common, Tera Panthi. The first one, see the first one, it's Murti Pujak. Other two, Sthankavasi, third is Terapanthi. So now the name automatically suggests that Murti Pujak is the only one who does Murti Puja, idol worship. Right, very simple. Only one who does idol worship, Murti Puja. Right, if they do idol worship, they will offer flower, fruit, etc. They will put rich clothes on the idol. They will put jewelry on the idol. Right, and they will stay in upsarayas. These are temples or buildings where they all will stay. Right, upsarayas. Now, because in this temple, somebody will be like, coming and going, like family man. They will be pujera, worshippers, coming for worship. There will be residents, like temple residents, Deravasi, Chatyavasi, permanently living there. Right, there are some mandir margi. They go to temple. This is mostly in Gujarat. And they are the one, because they are doing Murti Puja, so they don't put Mupatti. Why? For Mupatti, if you put Mupatti is this. Putting some patti or band on your mouth. So they don't put Mupatti. Again, how to remember this? You can remember like because there is Murti. Murti needs to see what you are saying. Right? Idol should see what you are saying. So that is the reason you should not put this Mupatti. So that idol, you are doing idol worship. So idol should be able to understand, see what you are saying to the idol. Again, no sense, but logically you can, or basically like this you can remember. Murti Puja, no Mupatti. Then Sthankavasi. Now Sthanka, what is Sthanka? Sthanka is nothing but a prayer hall. So there is no temple as such, no idol worship, no temple, but there are halls. And in these halls they do fast, festival, etc. etc. Here also there are two types of people. One is Dhundia, searchers, and one is Sadhu Margi, Sadhu followers. Right? So somebody who is like seeker will be called as searcher, Dhundia. And then there are Sadhu Margi or Sadhu followers who follow the monk. Right? Wear Mupatti. Yes, they can wear Mupatti. They will also wear Mupatti. Mupatti is only in Shwetambar because only they can put some clothes. Digambars can't have Mupatti because they can have no clothes. Again, Terapanthi, no idol worship again. Terapanthi again is reform against acharyas. Same as you had Digambars. In Digambars also we had reforms versus Bhatarka or acharyas. Same here also. Here only meditation is important. Right? Huh? They don't believe in monasteries and all, no buildings, etc. So Bikaner, Jodhpur, Mewar will have these Shwetambars. So yeah, so these are your main sects, right? Digambars again, sound stuff, but if you think about them, you'll find you can tell what it is about. Okay, finally Yapaniya. So Yapaniya was a sect followed earlier till medieval time somewhere, right? And they followed mixed practice. Few things they had taken from Digambar, right? Like nudity, eating from the hands. Why standing up? Why? If you eat from the hands while standing, you will have very limited food. Right? You'll not if you sit and relax and have all the food, right? Then you'll have more food. So you should not be doing that, and that is the reason they will eat from hands while standing up. But their thought process or belief were from Shwetambar. For example, believing into agams and all. So they believe those beliefs are from Shwetambar. But eventually they got merged, right? And they got subsumed in Digambars only. So these were the subsects. So in 2018, see, they had asked Sthankavasi. Sthankavasi belongs to which religion? This question was asked. So Sthanka's prayer very easy. So Sthankavasi already asked one, so yes, UPSC can go deeper, right? If UPSC asks, about Swatantrika Samitiya, then it goes for Lokattarvadim. So yes, in Jainism also it can go deeper. So we are done with the subsects. So in the last part, the councils we have already seen, literature part. See, Jain literature you find in almost all the languages. So one part of the literature we are studying over here. One part of the literature I teach in culture, right? What we are studying over here? Few things. So Agam or canonical we have already seen. Now we know what it means, right? We understand the Ganadharas and one point who are called as Shrut Kevlin. So technically the Ang Agam written by Ganadharas, right? The 12th book is called Drashtivada. Let me clarify. So we have seen Agam literature. Ang Agam, right? There are 12 in number. The 12th number book is Drashtivada. Now Drashtivad had 14 purvas. Out of these 14 purva, if you study at least 10, you become a junior disciple Shrut Kevlin. At least this much knowledge is required to become a Shrut Kevlin. Understood? Right? This one is written by Ganadharas. This one is by Ganadharas. And now we know who are Shrut Kevlins. So Ang Bahya Agam is composed by Shrut Kevlins. The languages are the Magadhi. Ardha Magadhi. This is form of Prakrit. Now I have repeated it multiple times, so now you know. Okay, so Agam. So basically we're talking about this. These are the 12 Angas. Right, 12 Angas. So these are the list of 12 Angas. I'm not saying you need to go through all this. This is the 12th on Drashtivada. Right, I'm not saying that you need to mug up all this, but at least give it one reading. Right, while revising, maybe when you revise 10 times, at least revise this 2 times. Right, so that at least you had some recognition, like Ayar Maga, Tuyagada, Than Maga, something like that. Some recognition should happen. You should be able to recognize 12 Angas because they are the main books. Now we know UPSC is asking books. Right, it is asking literature, and you can understand this is canonical. These 12 are same as Sutta Pitaka, Vinaya Pitaka. Right, so if Sutta Pitaka, Vinaya Pitaka is important, if the books in Sutta Pitaka, Vinaya Pitaka are important, then this is also important. So this is technically a bit tough. I'm not asking you to read it right away, but while revising, at least go through these books, see what it is all about. Maybe something you will retain. Again. So in 1996 they had asked this question, which of the following is not the part of early Jain literature? Right, now this is a very easy question. Reason, first option is Theri Gatha. Theri Gatha is Buddhist. Right, and they had asked which one is not. But otherwise, Acharanga Sutra. See, they had asked Angas. Right, so they do ask. So in 1996 they had asked this, and it means they can go again in this direction. So my suggestion is, at least try to see them. Try to at least recognize this is one Anga. Okay, other than that, if you see, these are 14 purvas, again very tough. So I'm not asking you to mug this up, but at least read. This is all the same things. For example, see, purvas are talking about what? Jiva, a Jiva. Right, this is what you have read. Talking about your 5th substance Dravya. Right, talks about energy of the soul, multiplicity of views, Anikantavadi, Saptambhangi. It is there in the 4th purva, Ashti Nashti Parada purva. Right, maybe something will be able to retain. Also, we'll get to know from where the whole philosophy, whole thought process came. Right, here theory of karma, it's bondage, influx, nature, fusion. This is from purvas. You will understand that you are also Shrut Kevlin now. Not Shrut Kevlin, at least junior Shrut Kevlin you have become. You know lot many things now. Right, so next time, if there is Samaya Pasarana, you can also join. You can write some books. Again, kidding, don't take it seriously. Okay, so Anga Bahya Agams. So these are written by Shrut Kevlins. Anga Bahya Agam, Shrut Kevlins. Ab to fingertip pe aa gaya hoga na, what is Shrut Kevlin, what is Ganadhara, what is Anga Bahya Agam. So see, there are 46 types of Anga Bahya. There are 46 books in Anga Bahya Agam. So there are 12 Angas, so there are 12 Upangas, simple auxiliary names. So every Ang will have Upang, so 12 Upangas. Then there are 10 Prakirnika Sutra. These are miscellaneous subjects. We don't have to go into. So Prakirnika Sutra. Then there are 4 Mool Sutra. Mool means fundamental, so fundamental text. right? It has to be studied by new monks. If you are a beginner, right, then you have to study the Mool Sutra, fundamental text. Then there are Cheda Sutra, Cheda Sutra, right? This is about behavior of monks and nuns, how to, like rules, like Vinaya Pitaka, right? We had Vinaya Pitaka there. Here we have Cheda Sutras, it is about conduct. And then 2, Sulika Sutra. Now 2 Sulika Sutra, 1 is Nandi Sutra. It tells you about knowledge, 5 types of knowledge, where we get to know what is Kevalya. What is Kevalya Gyan? And the second one is Anuyog Dwara Sutra. Right, this is about the analytical method, your Anikantavad. So this also comes from Anuyog Dwara Sutra. Right, these are your Anga Bahya Agam. For the time being, at least this much you should know. Right, you have 12 Angas, and then your Anga Bahya Agam, at least you should recognize Upanga, Prakarnika Sutra, Mool Sutra, Cheda Sutra, Sulika Sutra. Sulika Sutra also Nandi Sutra and Anuyog Dwara Sutra. So for the time being, only this much is good enough. At least consume this much first. Right, but of course, you see there are many more books. So in Digambars you see, so this is all followed by Shvetambars. Shvetambars don't follow this. We know why, right? Because they had discarded both the councils. So it is all revisited in the council. So Digambars will not follow this. Only and only Shvetambars will follow this. Yeah, right? And both the council was discarded by Digambars. So Digambars will not follow. These are the books of Shvetambars. So what about Digambars? So Digambars has only 2 books. Right? Digambars have only 2 books. One is Karma Prabharita, Katakhand Digama, and other one is Kashyap Prabharita. Karma Prabharita and Kashyap Prabharita. Karma Prabharita is basically about karma, and Kashyap Prabharita is about passion. Right, so these 2 books are important for them, Karma Prabharita and Kashyap Prabharita. So now if we use this chart, wait, I'll show you. Yeah, this chart. So now I have segregated in various languages. So in Tamil we have these many books. So this mind map will eventually help you. Right, in Sanskrit we have these many books. Right, similarly Prakrit. So in Prakrit, in Ardha Magadhi, we had books of Sri Shvetambars. Right, so here we have those 12 Angas and 46, 12 Angas, 12 Pangas, 10 Prakarnika Sutra, 4 Mool Sutra, 6 Cheda Sutra, 2 Sulika Sutra. Right, and similarly for Digambars. So they are basically using Prakrit language only. Yeah, so for them there are 2 books which are canonical. One is Karma Prabharita, other one is Kashyap Prabharita. Yeah, ज़्यादा हो गया actually. Okay. So basically I've segregated. Now if you need to study this, right? Kannada, when I teach Kannada literature, I talk about this. When I teach Sangam, I talk about this segment, this line and Sanskrit line, right? Right now this is homework for you. But I'm not asking you to see all, but few are very, very important. Let me mark those. Right? Let me mark the most important ones. At least for now, Bhadrabahu and his books, Kalpa Sutra, Bhadrabahu Samhita, right? Vasudeva Charita, Upasagraham Stotra, right? This is important. Then Ratanandi wrote Bhadrabahu Charit. This is also important. Parshishta Parvan of Hemchandra. This is important. Kunda Kunda you have already seen, so Samay Sara or Niyam Sara. Okay, you can skip this one for now. Right, okay, at least study this much, right? And don't worry, this is all from here only. So all the books are mentioned over here. It's not like you'll not find them. It's all there. Right, so I want you to actually go through this chart, right? Consume as much possible. Jain literature, at least consume this much. Right, at least consume this much. This Shantinatha Charita is important. Right, now I'll not mark anymore. At least this much you should study. And literature is important. UPSC is asking about literature. Right, okay. Now spread of Jainism, I'm giving you as a homework. Already discussed how this spread has happened. But there are multiple things in medieval India. So discussing them right now is not at all relevant. Now this is the statue in Gomteshwar, Sarvan Belagula. Can somebody tell me which asana is this one? What position is this one? Yeah, thank you. बस ओके 2 मिनट छोड़ो कंक्लूड करने बस ये पोजीशन बता दो कोई बस मैं कंक्लूजन मांगूंगा नहीं रिवाइज कर क्या बात है आदित्य सर क्या बात है वेरी गुड आदित्य अरे बच्चे पढ़ भी रहे हैं भाई तुम्हें क्या लग रहा है तुम नहीं पढ़ा तो कोई नहीं पढ़ाएगा पढ़ रहे हैं गुड आई मेट 3 टॉपर्स टुडे जिन्होंने ऑल इंडिया मॉक टेस्ट एंशिएंट इंडिया वाला जो है अटेंड किया था ना नाउ द गुड पार्ट वाज कि इट वाज ऑल इंडिया मॉक टेस्ट एंड इट वाज गिविंग अस सो मेनी राइट बट कैन यू इमेजिन दैट ऑल द टॉपर्स वर फ्रॉम पीडब्ल्यू राइट एंशिएंट इंडिया टेस्ट टॉप्ड बाय पीडब्ल्यू स्टूडेंट्स वन फ्रॉम संकल्प 1.2 वन फ्रॉम प्रहार वन फ्रॉम प्रिलिम्स फोकस right so you can understand that you have very good co-learners right you will have so many ranks next year from here even 2 of them are going 2023 so prelims focus and prahar both are 2023 so both are appearing in 2023 so yeah so basically you should also strive for the same so yeah so there is a spread of Jainism names are there so right now you will not understand this but yeah so Khajuraho Jain temple Dilwara Jain temple all this is Jain structure right then there are a lot of caves similar to Buddhist caves so Ellora caves Mangi Tungi Maharashtra Gajpant cave Maharashtra Udayagiri cave Khandagiri cave Odisha Hathi Gufa cave Odisha Sita Nivasar cave Tamil Nadu by the way I'll show you caves when I teach you architecture I'll show you all the caves how they look like right है ना so Sita Nivasar recently it was in news yeah ठीक है चलो okay this is one of the photos Sita Nivasar statues so Gomateshwar Maharaj Bahubali statue Shravan Belagula similarly statue of Ahimsa Rishabhnath Mangi Tungi Hills Maharashtra right so a lot of impact on the architecture as well okay so जो है contribution of Jainism you study so we are done over here we'll have some question or discussion tomorrow okay so ठीक है you can drop off we'll continue tomorrow now है ना so these 2 questions by the way we had already seen and okay tomorrow we'll have some questions as well we'll go through like this tomorrow Sati in later Vedic did we study Sati in later Vedic were we discussing Sati in later Vedic no we were not discussing Sati in later Vedic right है ना so Sati has not become prominent yet understood yeah so Tota Panth is basically midway it's not well defined they follow few things from this Tera Panth few from Bhishma right it's not very well defined right so it's okay you can skip that part yeah okay no we don't have to wait for Gupta period for Sati it will come soon okay guys thanks a lot okay so Jainism we are done we'll see few questions and I also want you to give a reading to the sites right है ना once you read it yourself you'll have much more understanding the concept the terms especially terms might have sounded some bit technical but otherwise it's not tough it's easy it's just like that it's Sanskrit or Prakrit or name is something you will not consume immediately right? You will not be able to consume immediately, but after some reading, some revision, right now if you revise once, you'll retain like 80%, 70% of it. And the first time it's like, what is Pashish Parvan, what is Angas and all. So this issue is for the very first time. And then with the content, those who want to drop off can drop off, right? I've already finished. Right, tomorrow we'll continue from here. So tomorrow we are going into Mahajanpadas. So yeah, so the point is, please study. You need to read, and if you read, you'll understand what we are discussing over here. It's not at all tough. Yeah, okay. The next session is on Mahajanpadas. So tomorrow we'll start Mahajanpadas. Okay, okay. So from when ladies join Jainism monks, right, there is no segregation as such. There will be separate class. I don't teach. See, for me, there are 3 subjects in one block: ancient, medieval, and art and culture. So first of all, I finish ancient and medieval part, and then I teach art and culture, because then the base is clear. We can only have to apply the philosophy. Yeah. Okay. Okay, guys. Page number 14, lecture number 10. Okay, Amir, let me check. Lecture number 10. मैंने सती लिखा हुआ था. See, sati comes from basically your this Magadha region, right? But let me check again. Page number 14, lecture number 10. Lecture number 10 is later with this Vedic literature, right? Okay, let me check. No issues. Yeah, I'll get back on this. Art and culture is awesome. I love these subjects, right? You have to develop the taste. Yeah, Venkatesh. Yeah, so it's light, very light. Awesome. It's amazing. Okay, I said it was Shakti, not Sati. Shakti is Shaktism, not Sati. Shakti is woman worship, or basically female goddess worship. Female god worship is Shakti. Will you not take modern history? See, Priyanshu, it depends upon the plan of the PWT, right? And I can take modern history if required, right? If there is a different plan, maybe some other teacher will take, right? So the team is strong, big team. So it depends upon the plan. I cannot comment right now. I'm not very sure how it goes. But as far as I understand, most probably I'm taking modern India, but not very sure today. Okay, can we also attain Kaivalya? Why not, man? Yes, you can attain Kaivalya. You all have that potential to become Buddha, or you become Mahavir or the Mahavir, or rank 1. Now you need to decide. 4 to 5 hours class is becoming tough. Please make it 6 p.m. if possible. 6 p.m. if possible means 6 p.m. 6 to 8. Okay. So this week I said, we'll continue with this on the same time. Next week let's discuss again. Okay, Priyanshu, thank you. Okay, so good. You all should feel that power inside you. So may the force be with you. Okay, chalo. Okay, guys. So see you tomorrow again. We'll continue from here. We'll talk about Mahajanpadas. Right. So tomorrow again. Also now, as I had promised, right? And as I had promised that after once the time is changed, we'll be doing like this only. Right? We'll have similar discussion. It will be like 2.5 hour class and maybe beyond it. Right? So please have that, you can say, mind makeup before you come to class. Right? Be ready with maybe glucose or chips or popcorn, whatever you need. But please stick to the class and try to understand as much possible. Yeah. Elephant, what is there? It's very bad. It's long back, man. Okay. So guys, see you again tomorrow. Bye. Take care. Good night. Do study. Bye.